Hello, everybody. Welcome to Little Rusty Buckets. That's what it's called. Subscribe if you haven't already, but we are here to talk about the championship finally going to OKC, as I have been predicting it would the whole way through. That said, wow, did we come very close to that not actually being the case, especially given the context of the Tyrese Halliburton injury. I went ahead and posted my What's Next for the Pacers video, and unfortunately part of that context got mixed up a little bit with that Halliburton injury. And just to get that out of the way first, my God, what a horrible possible outcome. I still feel like OKC was going to win this game. I still felt like that way going in. Definitely not, there's definitely going to be some degree of asterisk thrown on this by people, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first, just to quickly reflect on the game itself, I felt like this was a huge performance out of SGA, though he definitely had some weird moments in the fourth quarter, especially with foul trouble. He shot the ball rather poorly, 8 for 27 from the field in this one, shot a lot of threes, which I did not like, but he got to the line well, and primarily the big thing was his playmaking. 12 assists and 1 turnover in the end. I don't think he got that turnover till late in the fourth quarter. The other big standout for OKC is Chet Holmgren with 18 points and an NBA Finals Game 7 record, 5 blocks. Absolutely massive defending the rim in this one, and I've been saying, if Chet can just be okay, good, serviceable, hits his shots when he gets them on offense, he can be fine. He can be really impactful, and he got 8 free throw attempts in this one. Very high free throw attempt game across the board for both teams in this one. Indiana shot 29 and OKC shot 31. I felt like there were definitely a handful of calls that should not have been made, but it didn't feel like it was overwhelmingly one-sided. But with Halliburton being out, the Pacers did everything that they could to fight back in this game, and you got to commend them for it. First of all, Benedict Mathurin had another big game. Huge, his ability to get to the rim. He shot 10 free throws and hit all of them. Nembhard, yet again, had a really good game. He was great in Game 6. And Pascal Siakam started the game super strong, but did not end up actually having that loud of an impact. I felt like they could have gone to him more. I also felt like minutes-wise, if there is ever a game to start not doing Tony Bradley minutes or Thomas Bryant minutes or Ben Shepherd minutes, this would have been the game. Where is Shepherd? Yeah, he played 16 in this one. Not great. -4 in that one. Toppin was a -13. Damn, yeah, he was really bad. That sucks because he was having a great series otherwise. Miles Turner continued to not do much on the offensive end. Indiana chose to close small. Yeah, Toppin goose-egged, as Rudy is pointing out behind the screen. 0 points, 0 for 4. Not good. 3 turnovers as well. Yeah, I think they did everything they could. TJ McConnell was also great. Again, he went on like a single-handed 10-0 run in that third quarter to try and match or like keep up with what OKC was doing. But for the most part, that game was won in that third quarter because OKC found their shot again, and they were getting in transition 18 points off of turnovers in that third quarter, and 8 turnovers or 9 turnovers at that. One of them was a 5-second violation off of the inbound from TJ. OKC's defense turned it on when they needed to late in this game, and SGA's playmaking came through when they needed it most. I'm very confident that Shea is going to be winning Finals MVP. I am recording this video literally like moments after the game ended, so I don't actually have confirmation on that, but he won Finals MVP. Just got to give him credit for the historic season. He's going to finish this series averaging 35-5, roughly speaking. Pretty good efficiency, kind of high turnovers, but whatever. Like, truly great stuff from him. Chet came and figured it out right when he needed to. J-Dub had 5 points in the first half, which scared me, but had 15 in the second half, so he made up for it. He overall closed this series super well after a very questionable first 2 games, and there's going to be a lot of people who throw an asterisk on this championship, and I understand the reasoning, but I also hate how prevalent that is and how it just simplistic it is. It's a very basic interpretation. It's a very if this didn't happen, well, this wouldn't have happened. So the entire thing is invalid. I saw someone on Twitter, I retweeted it, saying that there hasn't been a championship that NBA fans have really respected since 2014. So who really gives a shit? I'm probably going to make a deep dive about it possibly, but it's an annoying subject. And there were 2 prongs of pain that I felt when that Halliburton injury happened. First of all, horrifying because you could see the pain of both the injury and the knowing of what it means for the game, like happening in the same time. Like he was feeling the agony of the physical and the mental pain in the same moment. And they kept replaying this shit over and over again, which I hated. But that sucked for obvious reasons. Achilles tears are awful. We really pray it does not affect his career in the long run. And you don't want the Pacers to not really have a great chance. I wanted this to be a close game, but I also knew immediately, here come the asterisk talks. Even if OKC won this game by 100 after that, they would have said, doesn't count. I'm over it. I really don't want to hear it. It's going to be said. I'm going to do my best to ignore it. I think we should still celebrate the Thunder, but we decided to do this thing where we jumped the gun on hating them. Before they even won their first championship, visceral hate. Like the 2015 Warriors, I don't remember being like the most despised team in the NBA before they even had a chance to win the damn championship. Afterwards, I get it because we've seen that cycle a million times, but we decided to jump the gun on this one because of mostly false narratives and bullshit about free throw merchants and bad calls. And like, don't get me wrong, plenty of bad calls in this series. There's been moments that certainly went OKC's way, but I think OKC wins this final series more often than not. But enough entertaining that. If you're a Thunder fan, congratulations. I know you have experienced a lot of turmoil over a decade now because the Thunder have just been perpetually pretty disappointing, especially when you consider that relative to being a small market team, they are super successful. That success has gone to such heights without actually crossing that final finish line, and they have now done that, and congratulations to them. Shea had an all-time great season. J-Dub is a great second option. This is one of the best defenses ever, but here's what's real scary about the OKC Thunder. They are not nearly as good as they can be. It is very clear the reason that this series went as long as it did and the reason they didn't just outright dominate these playoffs is some weaknesses that will be changed either through trade or time were really sticking out, particularly the three-point shooting and Chet Holmgren's overall offensive ability, although it was primarily three-point shooting that was his issue. Overall, Chet's going to be way better next time around. I'm pretty certain of that. He's also dealing with an injury thing that has not helped his case. J-Dub is going to be better. Shea is still only like 28, 27. I don't even know if he's 27. He might be 26. Like, he's a young dude too. This team is going to get better, and they have all the draft capital in the world to actually put some shooters on this team. I would highly recommend one of Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, or Alex Caruso are outright replaced with an excellent three-point shooter in this rotation. Who of those three you want it to be? There's a couple of different pros and cons for all of them, and you don't necessarily have to trade them, but you might. My main point, though, trade for fucking Cam Johnson. This series was as close as it was primarily because of three-point shooting, because even though OKC dominated in virtually every other facet of the game, not being a three-point shooting team at all by contrast to Indiana, that's a very good one, that is a huge hit. That really hinders the cap on this team, where you can make them struggle to get into the paint, you can make them struggle to hold on to the ball, but if they're going to get up 20 more three-pointers than you and they're going to hit 10 more of them, the math might end up working in their favor. You're still having them play to your game, but if you just hit a couple more threes on the other end while you're doing that, then you're golden. I think there is a chance that a team will pop up that can eclipse this Thunder team going into next season, but as of right now, I don't think the Houston Rockets did it. I think the Spurs have the potential, depending on what trade they do. If they traded for Giannis, I think they could possibly be better than OKC, but otherwise, I think OKC is the team that is going to three-peat, because I can't think of the last time a championship team was so clearly not even at its peak yet. Like 2015, the Warriors, that ended up proving to be the case because Draymond Green was not an all-star in 2015, and he was not nearly as high volume of a playmaker as he was 2016 onward. I feel like that part of history gets left out of it a lot, but Steph also obviously had a huge boost. He went from like 25 points per game to 30, and they won 72 games. So like obviously the ceiling was higher from there, but it wasn't like obviously higher. To me, if you're watching the Thunder and you're watching them closely, it's very clear that this is a team that was its own worst enemy pretty much any time that they were losing. They weren't losing because they were facing an opponent better than them. They were losing because their offense just turned into absolute dog shit. So the Thunder are going to be even better than this, and the hate's going to continue. I'm sorry. I've rooted for this team for a long time because I watched them build up the very foundation of it. I was interested in it just from like a general management experiment point of view. Seeing Sam Presti's vision come to be was something that I wanted to see, and frankly, the hatred against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I was so annoyed by that I kind of just started rooting for them out of spite, which isn't the best reason to root for a team, but whatever. Yeah, I hate that this game went the way that it did, though. I don't want the Thunder to win a game where Halliburton loses. I wouldn't say where Halliburton gets injured. I wouldn't say it happened because, but a lot of people will, and that is very annoying. But I also would have liked a game that was closer throughout, because Hallie hit 3 of his first 4 threes. Like, he started the game very promising, very upsetting moment. Shout out to the birthday twin, Halliban. I am rooting for a speedy recovery. Shout out to the Thunder. Congrats on the championship. Thunder fans, have a good time celebrating tonight. But that is it from me. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye.